All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us His truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, those making their bodies a living sacrifice, especially in these last days. Okay, now my name is Malak, and I want to start a series going into the book of Ezra. Now, you know, with being a Israelite, okay, and actually abiding to you know, the instruction that the Most High has given us, and following Yahweh Shai, which He's given us. Okay, He's given us a vast amount of history to tap into, and Lord will, for the edification of the church, this will be, a task that I look forward to going into, to be able to edify, okay, and to be able to also learn more of myself. Okay, so we won't move too fast. These lessons will be, we'll go into together. Um, you know, Ezra, the history, okay, and Lord will be able to, edify the body. All right. So I just have Ezra, okay, pulled up on Wikipedia. This is probably going to be something that we look to fairly often, okay, just to get a, historical context and overall just understanding, and maybe even, can discern and correct these biblical scholars, okay, because they don't got it, they don't have it all the time. Ultimately, they're a help, but sometimes we know, well, we know more than them, I'll say that. So it says Ezra, okay, his ministry was from 480 to 440 BCE, okay, before our Lord was born. All right, before he came as Yahushua. It says what Ezra was an important Jewish scribe and priest in the early Second Temple period. In the Greek Septuagint, the name is rendered as Esdras. Okay, it says from which the Latin name Esdras comes. His name probably a shortened Aramaic translation of the Hebrew name um, I Taraya Hawa. I Torah Yahweh. Okay. Yahweh. Okay. I Torah Yahweh. Okay. It says meaning the most high helps. Okay. In the Hebrew Bible or the Christian Old Testament, Ezra is an important figure in the books of Ezra and Nehemiah, which he is to have written and edited respectively according to tradition. Ezra was also the author of the books of Chronicles and the book of Malachi. Okay, so Esdras wrote. Okay, when we go here, share this tab. It said that he wrote the book of Chronicles, Ezra, and Nehemiah, right? Or was he? Did it say he was an important figure? No, Ezra was also the book of Chronicles and the book of Malachi. Okay, yeah, he was the author of the book of Chronicles. Okay, First and Second Chronicles and Malachi. So interesting. It says Ezra was instrumental in restoring the Jewish scriptures and religion to the people after the return from the Babylonian captivity. Okay, so after the Babylonian captivity, he he was, the main person to restore the people. Okay, Ezra was instrumental in restoring the Jewish scriptures and religion to the people after the return from the Babylonian captivity. Let's look up this Babylonian captivity. And this, this might just be an intro to the book of Ezra. You know what? It might just be an intro. Okay. It says the Babylonian captivity. Okay, the Babylonian captivity or Babylonian exile was the period in Jewish history, okay, during which a large number of Judeans from the ancient kingdom of Judah were forcibly relocated to Babylonian by the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Okay, and we knew that we would go into back into captivity, you know, when Babylon was amalgamated into the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Okay. It says the deportations occurred in multiple waves after the siege of Jerusalem in 597 BCE. Okay. You had the siege of Jerusalem in 597 BCE. Around 7,000 individuals were deported to Mesopotamia. Further deportations followed the deconstruction of Jerusalem and Solomon's temple in 587 BCE. So yeah, it says further deportations followed the destruction of of Jerusalem and Solomon's temple. Oh yeah, so they continued to after um, the siege. There were more deportations um, after the destruction of Jerusalem. Which when was that? Siege of Jerusalem. Let's look at the timeline on that. 587. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, 587. And Solomon's temple. So they must have destroyed Solomon's temple in 587 too. Okay. 587 BCE. Okay. Um let's go back. Yeah, okay, that's enough on that. Let's read this again. This is back in the Ezra. Okay, Ezra Wikipedia says Ezra was instrumental in restoring the Jewish scriptures and religion to the people after the return from the Babylonian captivity, and is a highly respected figure in Judaism. Okay, he is regarded as a saint in the Roman Catholic Church, which sets his feast day as July 13th, the same as that of his contemporary Nehemiah. Okay, and they were around during the same time, Nehemiah and Ezra. So I'm curious as to who wrote the book of Ezra. Who was his scribe? Was it Nehemiah? Let's see. Who says the author of the book of Ezra is debated with multiple theories. Okay, Ezra, a Jewish priest, teacher, and scribe, is said to have written the book of Ezra as well as the book of Chronicles and Ezra and Nehemiah. Um, okay, did it say that? Because I thought it said he didn't. Okay, yeah, we'll continue on. But I guess it's not necessarily um it's under debate. you know. But yeah. Anyway, going back, it says he is regarded as a saint, and we just read that. Um, he also is venerated as a saint of Eastern Orthodox Church, which sets his feast day on the Sunday of the Holy Forefathers. Okay, now his life. Okay, the canonical book Ezra and book Nehemiah are the oldest sources of the activity of Ezra. Okay, whereas many of the other books ascribed to Ezra, First Ezra's, third through six, at 3 through 6 Ezra, which are the books of the Apocrypha. Okay, First and Second Ezra's. It says are later literary works depending on the canonical books of Ezra and Nehemiah. The books of Ezra, Nehemiah was always written as one scroll. Okay, so yeah, it was a shared book. Okay, it was Ezra B. Okay, Ezra and Nehemiah is a book in the Hebrew Bible found in the Ketuvim section, originally with the Hebrew title of Ezra, called Ezra's B. In the Septuagint, the books cover the period from the fall of Babylon in 539 BCE to the second half of the 5th century BCE and tells the successive missions to Jerusalem. Okay, so just a little summary right there. There used to be one book, Ezra and Nehemiah. Okay, and it was written after the Babylonian captivity. Okay, um, now it says um, in late medieval Christian Bibles, the single book was divided into the first and second Ezra, and this division became Jewish practice in the first printed Bibles. Modern Hebrew Bibles call the two books Ezra and Nehemiah, as do other modern Bible translations. A few parts of the book Ezra, 4 and 8 to 6 and 18 and 7 and 12 through verse 26, were written in Aramaic. Okay, the majority in Hebrew, Ezra himself being skilled in both languages. Okay. Um, says according to the Hebrew Bible, he was a descendant of Sir Sir Suriah. Okay, Suriah says the last high priest to serve in Solomon's temple. Okay, let's look up this. I didn't know that. Okay, contemporary. All right, Sariah, high priest, contemporary of Zedekiah, was later carried captive by Nebuchadnezzar to Babylon and there put to death. 2 Kings 25 and 18. Okay. Um, there we go. Last high priest. Okay. He was the last high priest. I wasn't even sharing this. Yeah, it says contemporary to Zedekiah. Okay. He was later carried captive by Nebuchadnezzar to Babylon and there put to death. 2 Kings 25 and 8. Okay. Let's go back. It says the last high priest to serve in Solomon's temple. He was the last high priest to serve in Solomon's temple. All right, Zariah. And a close relative to Joshua, the first high priest. Okay, of the second temple. Okay, Joshua was the first high priest of the second temple. He returned from Babylonian captivity and reintroduced the Torah in Jerusalem. Okay, speaking of this is speaking of Ezra. Okay. He returned from the Babylonian captivity and reintroduced the Torah in Jerusalem, according to First Esdras, a Greek translation of the book of Ezra, still in use in Eastern Orthodox Church. He was also a high priest. Rabbinic tradition. Okay. Um, Rabbinic tradition supports the position that Ezra was an ordinary member of the priesthood and that he actually served as a Cohen uh, Gadol. Okay, it says now this is the Cohen Gadol in Judaism. The high priest of Israel was the head of the Israelite priesthood. He played a unique role in worship and conducted in the tabernacle and later in the temple in Jerusalem, as well as in some non ritual matters like all priests. He was required to be a descendant of Aaron. Um, yeah. So, yeah. See what this is. I'm about to have 20 tabs open. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is their version of saying Kahan. Okay, Kahan Gadal. Okay, Gadal. Gadawal. Gadawal. Okay. So it says yeah, the great priest. Okay, it says the head of the Israelite priesthood. He played a unique role in worship and conducted in the tabernacle and later in the temple in Jerusalem. Um, yeah. So yeah, this is the high priest. It says Ezra was living in Babylon when in the seventh year of Xerxes the first. Um, Ezra was living in Babylon when in the seventh year of Artaxer- Art Xerxes the first. Okay. Let's look up this character. Okay. Because this is a major character in the book of Ezra. Okay. So we just get some history on him. All right. And like I said, this is just a an intro to the book of Ezra. All right, Lord will, we're gonna get through it, and it will be edifying to those that are really sincerely into this thing in the history. All right. Now this is Artaxerxes the first. Okay, it says was the fifth king of kings in the uh, Aramenic Empire. Aramenic Araminid Empire from 465 to December 424 BC. He was the third son of Xerxes the first. Okay. Um, it says in Greek sources, he is also surnamed long handed, allegedly because his right hand was longer than his left. Yeah. Okay. Succession to the throne. It says Xerxes was probably born in the region of his grandfather Darius the first. To the emperor's son and heir Xerxes in 465 BC, Xerxes was murdered by Has-Arap, a a Arapt. Okay, I think I say that right. Has-Arapt. Okay, says commander of thousand. Um, Artabanus, the commander of the royal bodyguard and the most powerful official in the Persian court, with the help of a eunuch, Asparmitres. Okay, Greek historians gave contradicting accounts of events. According to Cetistus in Persia 20, um, Artabantus then accused Crown Prince Darius, Xerxes' eldest son, of the murder and uh, pursued, persuaded. Okay, Xerxes' eldest son. Let me read this again. According to Cistes, Artabanus then accused Crown Prince Darius, Xerxes' eldest son, of the murder and persuaded Xerxes to avenge the uh, parricide by the killing of Darius. Okay, so he must have got He kind of got in a grimy way, I guess. Let's see what this word means. Uh, pat patricide. Pat patricide. Oh, come on. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll go here. Wants to take some time. Okay. Patricide. Person who kills his father. Act of killing one's father. Okay. Oh, it makes sense. Patricide, like paternal. Tricide says mean to strike. Okay. Um, back to Xerxes the first. Okay. According to Aristotle in Politics, Artabanus killed Darius first and then killed Xerxes. After Xerxes discovered the murder, he killed Artabanus and his sons. Okay, um so this guy was kind of like a tyrant. Um he wanted to kind of take over, I guess, and cause discord, but he ended up taking out um Prince Darius, right? Yeah. He accused Prince Darius of murder and he wanted to avenge him. But according to Aristotle, Herodotus killed Darius first and killed Xerxes. Okay, yeah. Then Xerxes took him out. Okay, so yeah, we're not gonna read the whole thing. Oh, this might be good. This might be good. Let's see. It says portrayal in the book of Ezra and Nehemiah. King Xerxes, okay, pronounced Artaxerxes, okay, Artaxerxes, Xerxes says is described in the Bible, Ezra 7, having commissioned Ezra as a Kahan, pretty much priest and scribe, by means of a letter of decree to take charge of the ecclesiastical and civil affairs of the Jewish nation. Ezra therefore left Babylon in the first month of the 7th year of Xerxes' reign, at the head of a company of Jews that included the priests and Levites. They arrived in Jerusalem on the first day of the 5th month and on the 7th day according to the Hebrew calendar. The text does not specify whether the king in the passage refers to Xerxes the first or Xerxes the second. Most scholars hold that Ezra lived during the rule of Xerxes the first, though some have difficulties with this assumption. Nehemiah and Ezra seem to have no knowledge of each other. Their missions do not overlap. However, in Nehemiah 12, both are leading processions on the wall as part of the wall dedication ceremony. So they clearly were contemporaries working together in Jerusalem. Yeah, this is good stuff. It says at the time the wall and the city of Jerusalem was rebuilt in contrast to the previously stated viewpoint. These difficulties have led many scholars to assume that Ezra arrived in the 7th year of the rule of Xerxes II, some 50 years after Nehemiah. Okay. This assumption would imply that the biblical account is not chronological. The last group of scholars regard the seventh year as the scribal error and hold that the two men were contemporaries. However, Ezra appears for the first time in Nehemiah 8, having probably been at the court for 12 years. The rebuilding of the Jewish community in Jerusalem had begun under Cyrus the Great, who had permitted the Jews held captive in Babylon to return to Jerusalem and rebuild Solomon's temple. Okay. Consequently, a number of Jews returned to Jerusalem in 538 BC, and the foundation of the second temple was laid in 536 BC. In the second year of their return, Ezra 3 and 8, after a period of strife, the temple was finally completed in the sixth year of Darius, 516 BC, Ezra 6 and 15. Okay, so yeah, it took them some time to build the temple. um, it says after a period of strife. So it was a period of strife. They had came in and laid the foundation. And then it was kind of, stagnant for some time. And in second there's the sixth chapter, they finally finish it. The temple was finally finished in 516 BC. Okay. So this is just kind of like timelines, right? We can see, okay, Ezra, and how it was talking about the Babylonian captivity. Let's go back to that. The Babylonian captivity. Just giving y'all a timeline. Just giving you timelines. Um, okay, the Babylonian captivity. Um, the Babylonian captivity or Babylon exile was the period in Jewish history during which a large number of Judeans from the ancient kingdom of Judah were forcibly relocated to Babylonia by the Neo-Babylonian Empire. The deportations occurred in multiple waves after the siege of Jerusalem, 597. Okay, so you had the siege of Jerusalem. These are major events, right? The siege of Jerusalem in 597 BC. Okay, where around 7,000 individuals were deported to Mesopotamia. Okay. And then you had more deportations in 587. Okay. It says now and then after that, all right, you had the where were we? Where were we? Let's see. We were here. We were here. Okay, then you had Cyrus. Okay, Cyrus the Great, um, who was um when did Cyrus the Great get in power? Let's look it up. Cyrus the Great. Yeah, 6,000 or 600 BC to 530 BC. Um, Commonly known as Cyrus the Great. Okay, Cyrus the Second of Persia. Cyrus the Great was the founder of the Archimetic Arimidic Empire, hailing from Persis. He brought in the Achaemenid dynasty to power by defeating the Median Empire. Okay, yeah, the Medo Persian, right? We know that the after Babylon you had the Medes and then the Persians, and you can read about that in Daniel, the seventh chapter, right? Oh, let me share this. Salat, let me share this. Okay, Cyrus the Great. Okay, just going into history. Okay, um, which I need to tap into. So, um, Lord willing, this is be edifying. I'm being edified just by going over it. So, hopefully it exhorts you, and we can learn together. So Cyrus the Second of Persia, okay, commonly known as Cyrus the Great, was the founder of the Armenid Empire, hailing from Persis. He brought the Armenid dynasty to power by defeating the Median Empire. Okay, and that's the Medes, right? and embracing all of the previous civilized states of the ancient Near East. Okay, so you had the Neo Babylonian Empire, which was taken by the Median Empire, and then the Persians came up, and that was headed by Cyrus the Great. Okay, he was the one that, kind of had the reign of the Medes. But it says, um and embracing all of the previous civilized states in the ancient Near East, expanding vastly and eventually conquering most of West Asia and much of Central Asia to create what would soon become the largest polity in human history at the time. The Armenid Empire's largest territorial extent was archived under Darius the Great. Um, okay, so yeah, Darius, I guess he had a campaign where he expanded the empire. Okay, it says his rule stretched from the Balkans. Okay, the Balkans is southeastern Europe with various the region takes its name Balkan from the Balkan Mountains throughout the whole Bulgaria. Okay, his whose rule stretched from the Balkans, eastern Bulgaria to or Paeonia, and Thrace, Macedonia. Okay. The rest of Southeast Europe in the west to the Indus Valley in the east. Let's look up Darius the Great's. Um, let's look up his what he had control over. Darius the Great. Let's look up the territories of Darius the Great. Wow, so he was in his bag, huh? Darius was going in. Oh, and it took us to the same page. I guess this map is on here. Let's see. That ain't it. That ain't it. Where's the map? Okay. Okay. What year is this? Tribute in the Armenian Empire. Archmeniad. Archemeniad. Okay. Um. Wow. So they had the land. They had Libya, Egypt, Pamphylia, Syria, Babylon, the outer portion of India. Yeah, the empire was they was stationed, man. Um, it's a vast empire, man. You know. Let's go back. Let's go back. Where were we? Where were we? That's right. Let's go back to Cyrus. This is what I was sharing. I don't think I shared the screen, but this is the empire, the Armenian Empire. Yeah, I don't think I was sharing the screen, but vast, very vast empire. Okay, and like I said, this is just kind of like the intro. You know what I'm saying? We going Lord willing, we gonna get into it more. All right. So now we read about a little bit about Cyrus. Okay, a little bit about Darius. Okay. Some key players in that time period. Um, Let's continue on here. It says the rebuilding of the Jewish community in Jerusalem had begun under Cyrus. Okay. And actually, matter of fact, we can segue from that into I believe that's here. See, Second Chronicles. Mm, yeah, here we go. Second Chronicles 36 and 22. It really should quote that, but it's okay. It says, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, which that shows you that the Lord has control of all these kings, man. You know, it says that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it also in writing, saying, thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth hath the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, power of heaven, given me, and he hath charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah, who is there among you of all his people. The Lord his power be with him and let him go up. So yeah, this is when Cyrus permits that return. And the Lord stirred his spirit up to do that. All right. The Lord stirred his spirit up to go ahead and you know, allow that to happen. So and it quotes Ezra's the first chapter too. So let's go read it here. Okay, Ezra's 1:1. It says, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia. Let's look up cross reference on here to see where Jeremiah said that. Okay, Jeremiah. Oh, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Jeremiah 25:12. And it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation. Okay, so you had the Neo-Babylonian empire fall. Okay, saith the Lord, for their iniquity in the land of Chaldeans, I will make it perpetual desolations. Okay, in verse 13, and I will bring upon that land all my words, which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah hath prophesied against the nations. For many nations and great kings shall serve themselves also, and I will recompense them according to their deeds and according to their works in their own hands. Okay. And then, that was the judgment that the Most High pronounced against Babylon to through Jeremiah. Okay. Which we know that was actually talking about that modern day Babylon. Okay. The Babylon ruling at that time. It says, it says, for thus, this is Jeremiah 29:10, and this is a prophecy that we're reading about. It says, for thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you in causing you to return to this place. Yeah, what place? The land. Okay, they were returned unto the land, and after 70 years. Okay, um, and I will cause the captivity of Judah. Yeah, well, we know this didn't happen because the Northern Kingdom wasn't there. So this is inaccurate. It's inaccurate. They quote it, but that wasn't fulfilled. The Northern Kingdom did not return as well. It says the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel. It only was Judah. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much the point. Um, let's go back here. Uh, Where were we? I think we were here. Think we were here. Yeah, the rebuilding of the Jewish community in Jerusalem had begun under Cyrus the Great, who had permitted the Jews held captive in Babylon to return to Jerusalem and rebuild Solomon's temple. Yeah, we just read about that. Okay, how the Lord said that He would destroy Babylon, um, and Cyrus allowed Israel to or the nation of Israel, Judah chiefly, to the Jews to go build the temple back up. Um, Consequently, a number of Jews returned to Jerusalem in 538 BC. Um, the foundation of this second temple was laid in 536 BC. Okay, in the second year of their return. And we just read that. So, um, yeah, in Xerxes' 20th year, Nehemiah, the king's cupbearer, apparently also was a friend of the king. In that year, Xerxes inquired after Nehemiah's sadness. Nehemiah related to him the plight of which the Jewish people and that city of Jerusalem was undefended. The king sent Nehemiah to Jerusalem with letters of safe passage to the governors in Trans Euphrates and to Asaph, keeper of the royal forest, to make beams for the citadel by the temple and to rebuild the city walls. Okay, so yeah, this is just some historical context on Ezra's the first chapter. Okay, I'm gonna actually retitle this right now. To Intro to Ezra. Okay, and yeah, Lord will we'll be back and we'll go into this more, but just to have this stick and to go over what we'll read in the book. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be a dive into it. We're going to get into the commentary, Lord will. We're going to get into the history, and Lord will it be edifying for both of us. So yeah. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna call it a night. Lord will, we'll be back and we'll do the same thing. So I want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of a great millstone who taught us his truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.